Stop ruining your relationships. The Stoic secrets to deep connection. Have you ever wondered why the people closest to us, the ones we love the most, are often the ones who hurt us the deepest? Why do tiny misunderstandings spiral into cold silences? Why do our own words, spoken in anger or fear, fracture bonds we swore we'd protect? What if the answer isn't to change them, but to transform ourselves? What if there was an ancient philosophy that could make you calmer in the face of criticism, gentler in the heat of conflict, more loving without the chains of need or control? This is the gift of Stoicism. It's not about shutting down your heart. It's about opening it wisely. It's about building a mind so steady, so secure in itself, that it becomes the safest place for love to grow. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see how Stoicism can turn your relationships from fragile and reactive into something unbreakable. Imagine a relationship where misunderstandings rarely spiral into bitter fights, where forgiveness flows more easily than blame, where you love deeply, courageously, yet without clinging fear or fragile expectation. Now imagine you can build this kind of relationship not by changing your partner, your family, your friends, but by changing yourself. This is the promise of Stoicism. And right now, through this journey on Stoic Gateway, we're going to explore how this ancient philosophy, born on dusty streets of Athens, refined in the marble courts of Rome, can completely revolutionize how you connect with the people you care about most. This isn't some cold, heartless doctrine. It's not about being emotionless or aloof. Stoicism is about becoming so rooted in inner peace, self-mastery, and virtue that you bring out the best in yourself and those around you. So let's walk this path together. And by the end, you may find that the most profound relationship you ever build is not just with others, but with your own steady, noble soul. What Stoicism really teaches us. Most of the modern world gets Stoicism wrong. They picture stern statues, unfeeling, unmovable, people who don't cry at funerals or smile at weddings. But the true Stoics were deeply emotional beings who simply refused to be ruled by destructive emotions. Epictetus was once a slave, with a cruel master who twisted his leg until it broke. Yet Epictetus didn't let hatred poison his heart. Marcus Aurelius ruled over an empire that was constantly at war, plagued by disease, surrounded by betrayals. Yet he woke up each day determined to be patient, rational, compassionate. Seneca suffered repeated losses, the exile of friends, and ultimately a forced death by the order of Nero. And yet, he still wrote about how precious life and friendship are. For them, Stoicism wasn't about becoming cold. It was about becoming free. Free from needless suffering, from toxic anger, from mindless jealousy. And this freedom is exactly what makes us better lovers, better friends, better parents, better human beings. The hidden reason relationships fail. Now let's get painfully honest. Why do so many relationships, romantic or otherwise, turn sour? Why do close friendships erode into cold distance? It's not usually because of some grand betrayal. It's because of little poisons that accumulate. Expectations that other people must think, feel, or act exactly how we want. Ego that demands we always be right. Quick tempers that burn bridges in seconds. Insecurity that clings so tightly we suffocate love. Grudges that rot our hearts from within. Stoicism goes right to the root of these poisons. It teaches us how to uproot them, so what's left is a soil where trust, understanding, and genuine affection can grow. The first Stoic key: understanding what's truly in your control. Epictetus began almost every lesson with this radical idea. Some things are up to us and some things are not. You can't control whether your partner is in a bad mood tonight. You can't control whether your friend forgets your birthday. You can't even control if your parents finally understand your life choices. But you can control your own expectations, your own judgments, your own responses. This is why so many relationships fail. We constantly try to control the uncontrollable. We want people to love us in exactly the ways we crave. We want them to always understand us, to never disappoint us. Stoicism frees us from this impossible demand. It teaches, focus only on what is yours to command, your thoughts, your character, your conduct. Imagine the relief this brings. You stop trying to rewrite other people's stories. You simply write your own with as much grace and honesty as possible. The second Stoic key: don't take things personally. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. None of them can hurt me." At first glance, this sounds grim, but it's actually liberating. Marcus knew that people act poorly not because they hate us personally, but because they're struggling with their own ignorance or pain. When your friend snaps at you, it's probably not about you. When your partner withdraws, it's likely their own storm, not a rejection of your worth. A Stoic learns not to take these moments personally. This breaks the chain of escalation. It allows you to respond with calm curiosity instead of wounded pride. "I wonder what burdens they're carrying right now," is a question that leads to compassion. "How dare they treat me like this?" is a thought that leads to war. The third Stoic key: master your emotions before they master you. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." It's not that Stoics didn't feel anger or sadness or fear. It's that they refused to let those emotions hijack their reason. Imagine you're having an argument. Your partner says something unfair. A flash of anger rises. The old pattern might be to raise your voice, fire back, make it personal. But a Stoic pauses, takes 3 breaths, examines the feeling. Is this anger helpful? Will this response bring us closer to truth and understanding? Most times it won't, so you let the wave pass. Then you speak from clarity, not from the heat of the moment. This changes everything. Fewer insults are hurled. More honest vulnerabilities are shared. Instead of trying to win, you try to understand. The fourth Stoic key: practice radical empathy. People misunderstand Stoicism as self-centered, but the greatest Stoics were remarkably compassionate. Marcus wrote, "Whenever someone does wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. When you see that, you'll pity them, and you won't be surprised or angry." Think about this. If someone lashes out, it often comes from fear, insecurity, pain. A Stoic doesn't excuse cruelty, but they try to see its roots. So when your friend betrays a promise or your sibling is cold and distant, try asking, what might they be afraid of? What unseen wounds do they carry? This doesn't mean you allow toxic people unlimited access to your life. Boundaries are essential, but empathy helps you set those boundaries without bitterness. You protect your peace without poisoning your heart. The fifth Stoic key: love without clinging. Epictetus gave advice that sounds harsh to modern ears. When you kiss your child, say to yourself, "Tomorrow you may die." He didn't mean to be morbid. He meant to deepen your appreciation. By remembering that everything is temporary, you stop taking your loved ones for granted. You also stop trying to own them. Stoics believed that even the people we love most are on temporary loan, so cherish them, support them, but don't cling so tightly you strangle their freedom. This paradoxically creates a safer, healthier bond. Your partner knows you choose them each day, not out of desperate need, but genuine affection. The sixth Stoic key: be a philosopher in love. Picture how the 4 Stoic virtues apply directly to your relationships. Wisdom: you seek to understand before you judge. You look for the deeper reasons behind conflicts. You approach problems thoughtfully. And which You have the hard conversations. You admit when you're wrong. You express your needs honestly, even when it scares you. You treat your partner, friends, and family with fairness. You keep promises. You don't manipulate or use guilt as a weapon. Temperance, self-control. You don't let a moment of passion, whether anger or desire, lead you to words or actions you'll regret. You wait. You reflect. You respond with intention. This is what being a Stoic lover, a Stoic friend, a Stoic parent looks like. It's profound strength wrapped in gentle humility. Simple daily Stoic practices for better relationships. Let's bring this down to earth. Here are simple ways you can start living this today. Morning premeditation. Start your day by saying to yourself, "Today I will meet people who are anxious, forgetful, stubborn. I can't control them. I can only control my own mind, so I will meet them with patience and virtue." This sets your emotional expectations realistically, preventing the sting of surprise when people inevitably act imperfect. Evening reflection. At night, journal with honesty. How did I show wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in my relationships today? Where did I let ego or impulse get in the way? How can I do better tomorrow? This nightly examination was a practice both Marcus Aurelius and Seneca recommended. Over time, it sculpts your character. When conflict arises, take 3 deep breaths before you speak. If needed, say, "Can we take a few minutes? I want to respond thoughtfully." This tiny pause can prevent a mountain of regret. The view from above. Imagine zooming out, seeing you and the other person as tiny figures on a vast planet. This helps shrink petty annoyances and reminds you what truly matters. Spend a quiet moment occasionally imagining life without this person. Not to depress yourself, but to deepen your gratitude. Suddenly the petty annoyances dissolve, replaced by tender appreciation. Stories from the Stoics, lessons for us. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, never allowed his power to make him cruel to friends or family. Even when deeply hurt by betrayals, he wrote pages reminding himself to remain gentle and forgiving. Seneca counseled his friend Lucilius not just on personal ambitions, but on how to be kinder, more patient with family members who tested his limits. Epictetus, though born a slave, taught his students that no one could truly offend or harm their inner character unless they allowed it. He stressed mutual respect and seeing even difficult people as partners in their own moral growth. Their examples echo down centuries to us. Keep your soul noble, your reactions calm, your love pure. What a Stoic relationship looks like. It's 2 people who don't try to own or fix each other, but support each other's growth. It's friendships that survive disagreements because they're rooted in shared respect, not ego. It's families that practice forgiveness, understanding that we're all imperfect works in progress. Isn't this what we all long for? Not shallow perfection, but deep, weathered bonds that can withstand storms. My Stoic Gateway exists. Here on Stoic Gateway, we explore these timeless principles not as dry theory, but as living tools you can apply right now to your arguments, your misunderstandings, your moments of joy and heartbreak alike. Because life is unpredictable. People will disappoint you, you will disappoint them. The only lasting peace comes from building a mind and heart so grounded in Stoic wisdom that you can navigate these storms with courage and compassion. So if you find value in this journey, subscribe to Stoic Gateway. This channel exists to help you transform your life, and by extension, every relationship you hold dear. So, take a deep breath with me now. Picture someone you love. Picture the ways they sometimes frustrate you. Now, repeat softly to yourself, "I cannot control them. I can only control how I love them. I choose to love them with patience. I choose to listen more than I speak. I choose to forgive more than I condemn. And when needed, I choose to walk away with grace." rather than stay and breed resentment. This is Stoicism in action. This is how you build not just relationships that survive, but relationships that uplift and liberate. Remember, the greatest gift you can give those you love is your own stable, wise, joyful soul. And in nurturing this through Stoic practice, through understanding what is in your control, mastering your emotions, loving without clinging, practicing daily gratitude, you become the kind of person who turns every relationship into a sanctuary. This is the quiet power of Stoicism. It's not about building walls around your heart. It's about building a mind so clear and steady that your heart can love more bravely, without fear, without chains. So, if this message resonates with you, if you feel called to explore this ancient wisdom and apply it not just to your own mind, but to every relationship you hold dear, then keep walking this path with us here at Stoic Gateway. Subscribe, reflect, practice, and together, let's build lives of quiet nobility and relationships that stand the test of storms. Thank you for being here, and remember, waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Until next time, stay steady, stay kind, and keep opening the gateway to your best self. Welcome to Stoic Gateway